You know what they say, a little revenge is good for the soul. My Bloody Galentine is a Tubi original directed by Tracy Hayes, written by Eliza Hayes Marr, and they've been involved in previous Tubi original projects. You can check out the respective IMDb pages for the full listings of their work. Tracy did a film called Blood, Sweat, and Cheer. That title sounds delightfully silly. It almost sounds like an R.L. Stine book. I need to check that out at some point. And Eliza has done a few other films, including one called Deadly Dilf. Oh, Tubi, what would we ever do without you? With originals that range from really shockingly good to, well, that was kind of okay, to absolutely abysmal. What in the world were they goddamn thinking? You know, something like The Unborn, where there was a line in there. Are you trying to tell me that you won't let me feel our baby kick because you think your uterus is haunted? That line will stick in my goddamn memory. Even when my memory has gone to grape jelly, I will remember that line. I want that line carved on my tombstone or my urn or whatever thing I am put in the earth with or burned with. I don't care. I want that line on my tombstone. That being said, this has nothing to do with what is going to be etched as I go into the afterlife, even though The Unborn is rather hilarious. Let's get back to My Bloody Galentine, which, yes, is a play on My Bloody Valentine, in case you didn't get the subtlety about the whole goddamn thing. My Bloody Valentine, by the way, came out in 1981 and was remade in 2009. I'd argue the 2009 version was just a little bit better, but My Bloody Galentine. So yeah, you basically have three women, one that just moved across the goddamn world to be with her boyfriend that breaks up with her. She's named Jaden. Jaden. She's gonna do something to get revenge because Jaden's not very happy. I don't really blame her, because when you move across the goddamn world to be with somebody, you kind of expect them to stay with you and you to build a life together. So it's really tough to do that. Even if you have a lot of funds and can move back, that's uprooting your goddamn life. That's ridiculous. But yeah, her boyfriend breaks up with her and she doesn't take it all that well. And it's a shame because she's starting a new job at a company called Glow with beauty products and all kinds of stuff. It's full of high tech and cliched people and ridiculously over-the-top pink and white, settings. It's just so ridiculous. You're kind of thinking we're almost going full Mean Girls here. Speaking of Mean Girls, you have a couple of girls that actually are, well, they're young women that are kind of assistants to Dominique, who is the boss. And Dominique is just this very kind of domineering presence, but also seems sweet and just wants to be a good boss and everything, and just have everybody work for her like her. So there's Brandy and Alex, and they kind of take a liking to Jaden, and they realize, hey, wait a second, your boyfriend broke up with you. We had recent breakups too. Let's all band together and get revenge on our respective boyfriends. But then the boyfriends start turning up, missing. And by missing, I mean dead. And then things get really, really weird. This gradually happens as the film goes on, and it's marketed as a thriller. I'm really hoping that this movie wasn't trying to take itself so goddamn seriously and it was just mislabeled on IMDb and on other things like Rotten Tomatoes, because if it was trying to take itself seriously, it failed miserably, because the cliches, the ridiculousness of the whole premise, and the fact that this movie is so unevenly paced, if you take it seriously, you're not going to have a good goddamn time. Fortunately, I like to take things not so seriously, unless it's a serious subject matter and the movie doesn't treat it with respect. I took this as a full-on satire and comedy, and I had great goddamn fun with this. It's by no means a great movie, but it's so much goddamn fun, I didn't care. It's delightfully stupid. It's delightfully silly. Everybody acts like, oh, nothing bad could possibly happen, even though we keep digging ourselves further and further and further into the goddamn earth with our poor decisions. The acting is okay, the writing is fine, but taken as a comedy, it's objectively hilarious, sometimes unintentionally hilarious, and one of the funniest movies I have seen in a number of years, because it is so fucking stupid and so just cliche-ridden, but it's so goddamn entertaining. I highly recommend you guys check this out because it's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. Again, if they were trying to take it seriously, goddamn, they missed the goddamn mark, but I'm just going to assume they tried to make a comedy here, and they nailed it. They nailed it because it's so fun, and it's actually somewhat well shot, except for a couple bad CGI effects. The outfit that the killer wears is certainly intriguing. It plays back into something that they were advertising at the beauty agency parlor, whatever the fuck it is, that seemingly has unlimited resources and is located somewhere in London. And I will say that the actress who plays Jaden, Ella Ray Smith. I'm sorry, I'm sure she's never heard that one before. She's fine as the lead. And you have Cassie Clare, who plays Brandy, who's kind of more of like the boisterous out there one that wants to continue the revenge. And you have Alex Miriam Teak Lee. Isn't teak some kind of oak? I genuinely want to know because I'm not familiar with my wood types. I'm a wood sprite. There's also side characters like Brett and Giselle, and there's a character Tristan that at one point one of the characters refers to as Tristina Aguilera. That was hilarious. I don't know why it was so hilarious because it might be seen as a little bit homophobic, but it was funny. It was really funny. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I did kind of like how each respective girl or woman, young woman, has imagined killing their ex, dispatching their ex, and then all this stuff plays out. It actually was somewhat shockingly well, filmed because when you see Tubi original, when you see that label on there, you almost just have to think this is just not going to be all that great. But it's actually fairly well crafted. But again, you have to take it as a comedy because otherwise you're not going to be having a good time. I had great fun. I laughed my ass off during most of this. I thought most of it was cinema. One of the most surprising movies of the goddamn year, even if it was meant to be serious. But holy hell, it was fun. It was really fun. It forgot it was a slasher several times. Yeah, they did a few things that, pad this thing out, and I think it honestly could have probably been about 10 to 15 minutes shorter, even though the ending of it really seemed rushed. But it was fun. It was fun in a breeze, and check it out. It's on Tubi. It's really goddamn hilarious. Really, really fun. I don't really know what else to say except to get into spoilers. That's your warning. It's on Tubi. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Okay. So, I did kind of like how we started in the beginning. There was rap, as our Lord and Savior Dr. Dre once said. We have a girl that it turns out was Alex, wandering around blindfolded on a stage, and then suddenly a spotlight falls on her. A spotlight falls on her head, and she can't, get this blindfold to prevent her from being dead. That is not how the lyrics go, but nevertheless. The CGI butterfly was a choice. I don't know why they went with that. You could have cut that out and it wouldn't have looked nearly as cheap. This needed more obnoxious pop music. The soundtrack probably was one of the only things I didn't care for, even though I'm sure the singers are talented. So, a breakup over a romantic dinner where, well, let's just say after Jaden talked to her mother, she was thinking that Ray was going to ask her to move in. No. He was breaking up with her, even though it seemed like all disagreement to moving in, breaking up, he says, and she says moving in. Now she's upset, and then she imagines herself killing him. We've all wanted to kill our exes, I imagine, at some point, especially if it wasn't our fault. If it was our fault, then we probably shouldn't be imagining that. We probably should look into ourselves and maybe not be such dicks. So, she manages to get through all this stuff along with Brandy and Alex. Brandy had to break up with an employee, a player named Brett. It was kind of funny. Alex also liked a chef that ran off with some young girl in France. It's a good thing that France doesn't have anything like that happening. Luc Besson and so many other people. Nevertheless, enough dumping on France, because France is a beautiful country, I assume. I've never been. I did kind of like the opera mask that was supposed to heal your face and clean up your face with technology that's unexplained. And, yeah, we're just going to band together and get revenge. Like, a little revenge is good for the soul. Love, who needs it? Love stinks, as the Jay Gellis Band once said. Is this supposed to be a comedy? It's something I wrote down several times. So, Jaden is kind of going a little bit, not handling things all that well. All three of them, well, they decide just to gradually plan this stuff. The idea is as they form these plots, they're going to get revenge in funny ways by doing stuff on social media and doing stuff to get back at their boyfriends. Now, look, you should break up with somebody and you shouldn't cheat on them. You shouldn't be a full-on dick. I speak from experience as somebody that has been on both sides of that. And yeah, Brett's a bit of a player in the office. There's even a scene where he's doing some things to get an oral fixation with the boss, shall we say. And there's talk between Alex and Brandy while they're talking to Jaden in the office. And it turns out that, well, they're saying, like, no, Dominic isn't really our friend. We just pretend she is. Like, we try to coexist like barnacles and whales. I don't think that's how that works, but nevertheless. And Alex ends up playing a bit, finds out about her chef ex, that he was stealing recipes, and she tries to ruin his reputation. And then Jaden kind of falls for a photographer named Luca. Alex falls for a guy that loves to make her smoothies. No, that's not a euphemism, at least not in this case. Well, Brandy doesn't have anybody. Brandy has a singular focus because Valentine's Day was Jaden's favorite day, and now it's time for revenge. And then Sonny, the chef boy, is killed in the alley. 37 minutes in, we realize that we're a slasher here. Okay, Tristan, meanwhile, is hearing all this and trying to go and talk to the boss, but the boss won't listen. He goes in there in the aforementioned oral fixation scene. And I don't know why that went so... I don't know why that made me laugh. And then they spike Ray, his protein shake, after he had shown up with a new beau. Raquel, I believe was her name. I mean, nothing against the actress, but her character was so minor. She is wearing her sweater. Too many pronouns, pal. Basically, Raquel is wearing Jaden's sweater, and this upsets her. She decides to seek revenge, spikes the drink, and he ends up having the shits during a workout stream. There's a different kind of stream going on. And then somebody has mailed a box of chocolates and delivered them right to Jaden's door. Dear Jaden, revenge is sweet, isn't it? Who could it possibly be? Brandy takes credit for it. It actually turns out not to be Brandy. It turns out to be somebody else. Tristan is hearing all this stuff and can't get Dominique to believe the whole goddamn thing. Brandy is just driven by revenge, and she's driven by anger, and the dogs are in the enclosed pool area, and the garage side door is open. You get that reference, you are going to hate me. Ray then gets killed, strangled on a workout bench, which was kind of funny. The movie doesn't really have inventive kills, but it's just so funny you can't help but laugh. And Jaden keeps freaking out. Brandy still wants to keep going because she hasn't had a chance to get revenge on her guy, Brett. She wanted to break up with him first, but he broke up with her, and he cannot be thought of as superior. She has this idea to put some bad spray tan on him. But the killer gets to that, I do want to say, with their own spray stuff. And sprays him, and he did the bad CGI here where he's burning up. That's kind of hilarious. The gala must go on. This is big old gala, the Galentine thing. Do you get it? Do you fucking get it? Again, take it as a comedy, and it's great. So, we see that Alex has been kidnapped, and the spotlight falls, but misses her. Misses her totally. Then it turns out, actually, it's Dominique. Why is Dominique doing this? Because you were supposed to be my friends! Shrieking 2009 Dave Bautista noises, where he beat up Ray. And it was great. Rey Mysterio brought Dominic to the goddamn wrestling company, and he deserves to be punished for that. If you are not a wrestling fan, you have no idea what I'm talking about. What basically comes up is she reveals, if you guys had just been my friends, I did everything for you. I did this because she was always picked last in volleyball and all this, never had anybody go to prom with, and she just wanted to be friends, and she wanted to have good things happen, and wanted friends. You're hiring employees, you're not hiring friends. Yes, you want to get along with people, but it's so silly. But there's still somebody wandering around a mask during this time where this guy Luca and this other guy are being, the guy that likes to make Alex's smoothies, again, not a euphemism, are being auctioned off for dates by a bunch of these girls that have all these masks on, all these influencers that we never actually see anything of. We just assume comedy, let's go with comedy right there. And there's this receptionist, Lily, who is a beautiful blonde, I just want to say. She kicks Alex's phone to her. Alex calls the two girls. They are going to plot a way to get Dominique. But then somebody shows up in the mask, and it's Tristan. Basically, Dominique hired Tristan to help. But Tristan is an idiot. Christina Aguilera. Again, funny. It's funny. Now we need to go listen to some Christina Aguilera. And It's so delightfully stupid. It's so delightfully stupid. Dominic basically, after Tristan ends up basically getting killed by the spotlight and the blood splatters on them, they try to get Dominic. Dominic is about to stab them, and then this girl Giselle that has basically been, she's been referenced a little bit, but not a ton, hits Dominic. She's been knocked out. Giselle saves the day. And then 6 months later, Giselle is running the company, but before that, Jaden says, no more Valentine's Day, no more Galentine's Day. I just want a quiet night next year with my friend, my true friends. And 6 months later, Giselle is helping run things, but brings in a new CEO, and it's Dominic's sister. Why not? Why not? Cinema. B+ for entertainment. The movie itself is an F. The movie is a dumpster fire if it's taken seriously. But I'm giving it a B+ for entertainment because I had great fun watching this. It was stupid and ridiculous, and I need to see more of what the director and writer have done. I need to see more. More projects, please. I hope they can do more projects and make them as entertaining as this. So yes, B+. Agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.